ANORA from 2024, directed, edited, co-produced and written by Sean Baker. The opening shot of this multi-award winner is a close-up of a lap dancer's derriere, so right from the start you sort of know what you're in for. A cheeky way to start a film if ever there was one, but despite all the sex scenes in this, the bad language, really foul-mouthed bad language at times, and the drug abuse, it somehow seems to retain a comedic charm throughout. It's a drama, but it's a comedy drama. It's a sex film, but it's not. It's hard to categorise, but I'll come on to that a bit later perhaps. Mikey Maddison is clearly the star of the show, but all the leads are brilliant. There's 5 of them in the lead roles and 6 if you include the mother character, but all of them are brilliant. I particularly liked Yura Borisov as Igor. You'll come to know who he is, and he becomes an increasingly sympathetic character throughout this. But once more, it's a modern film where I didn't find any of the characters annoying or disappointing. So even though a lot of people are not going to like all the controversial aspects of this film, I think a lot of people do, and a lot of people will enjoy it immensely. It's not the best film ever made. I'm not sure if it really entirely deserved all the awards it received, but it's an impressive film and shot full frame anamorphic, so you know you're going to get a filmic looking image on this. It was finished in a computer, not on film, so how much better would it have been if it had been finished on film? I don't suppose we'll ever know, but it looked very nice in here. The negative stock was flashed. That means it was exposed to light in a flash before it was exposed in the cameras, and that makes it more sensitive to light, so in those nightclub scenes they could have it dark and still pick up just about everything. Gives it a sort of a surreal look in a way, a dreamy look if you will, or at least it did in here, and I very much liked it. But what was most impressive about those nightclub scenes was probably the sound. Now this is still on release in some cinemas. The Prince Charles, I believe, are still screening it weekly, so it's still taking money at the box office, but the latest figures I could find, this had an estimated budget of just $6 million, and it's so far taken at the worldwide box office around $60 million, so pretty successful for a real film that just went out and shot film. And this might be quite important because no CGI that I can recall. I can't think of anywhere where CGI might have been required. There might be something in there, but it wasn't obvious to me, or at least I can't remember it. And it does make you realise how much you've been missing real films with all these superhero and special effects laden things where they've had to use green screens, and the end product just doesn't have a lifelike looking image. It loses something, it loses too much. It's not the case with this lovely sort of soft, typical filmic, full frame anamorphic 35mm look, and with the stock flashed, it's got that sort of surreal look to it too. So quite beautiful in places. Certainly not going to be the sharpest or the best imagery you've ever seen on a 4K disc, but I'm very impressed with the overall package. It's got an aspect ratio of approximately 2.40 to 1, the normal scope ratio, and it comes with DTS 5.1 sound, and in the club scenes that is oh so impressive. I think filmmakers are really getting a handle on how to create these club atmospheres on 5.1 and general surround soundtracks, and when you hear something as good as this in those club scenes, makes you wonder why they ever needed anything else. I think another film I can think of that was very similar to this in terms of sound, and it could have been anything up to Atmos or DTS:X, was Sinners, and that was 5.0 at the IMAX. Sensational sound system in there, but this with the THX at the rear as well, all round, you get a similar effect with sound coming at you from everywhere. This does not disappoint. So even if you don't like the film, and believe me, it's not really one you want to watch with your grandmother, but even if you don't like it, I think you're going to enjoy certain aspects of it, and particularly that soundtrack. It has a running time of about 2 hours and 19 minutes. Now let's have a look in this pack. It's got this sort of slip box, which you can leave the cellophane on if you slice it in such a way and then tape it down on the inside of the case, and that should keep it looking brand new on your shelf for those who wish to. I've been doing that sort of thing for well over 40 years now, starting with Super 8 films, and I've carried it on through Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray and 4Ks. Now the pack itself, it's one of these digipack things. There's a little well, it's a magazine really. I think it's a fabrication of a magazine, might be a reproduction of some articles in a magazine called Continental, but it's got a good feel to it. I really can't show you much of it because some of the pictures in here might be a bit naughty. I think there's one like the opening shot of the film, so I certainly can't show you that, as nice as it may be. But I have read this, it's quite interesting, and it matched my take on the film. Don't read it before you see it because it does give away the ending. And I would have ended it slightly differently, but doesn't matter what I think because this won so many awards, including the Cannes Palme d'Or. And within the extras disc is quite extensive, runs for several hours. I've been through most of it. The making of shows the Cannes Film Festival and Sean Baker afterwards showing the award, this beautiful trophy, to the cast and crew who were present. So it's got that in there. It was before the British Academy Awards and the USA Academy Awards, so you don't see any of that. I think Criterion must have pulled off quite a coup getting the rights to this before it won all those awards, but what a great company to get it, because this 4K, it looks like a film. It's got the usual Criterion wealth of extras. Most of them are well worth looking at. There was one where I sort of got a bit lost and I came out of it and went on to the next one, but a great extras disc. The Blu-ray I expected to be almost as good as the 4K because the 4K just has that look to it. You think they can reproduce this on the Blu-ray, but surprisingly it's nowhere near the 4K. So if you like ANORA and you haven't got a 4K system yet, or a setup of any kind that can handle 4K, then this will be the disc to invest in and get that 4K system. So I'm very impressed with the whole pack, but this film won't be for everyone. I know it's got a lot of love, it's won a lot of awards, but it really is quite controversial. And there might have been some scenes where I thought, oh good, I'm glad it's just my wife and I watching this in here. But having watched the extras, I've relaxed about that a little, and the bit of information that I learned in there, I can't remember where it is, I think it's in that long making of Mikey Maddison and Mark Edelstein, hope I've pronounced his name somewhat correctly. They asked Sean Baker what he would like them to do to enact the sex scenes. And so, to make the point clearly, he asked his producer wife Samantha Kwan to come over, and they showed them exactly what they wanted to do. But strangely, there's nothing of that in that making of, which is a bit of a shame because I think that would have been a bit of hilarious fun to actually see that. I find it so amusing that they were willing to do that to their crew, their actors, and show them exactly what was required. So quite brave filmmaking really, but I dare say they made sure no one had their telephones on to shoot any video of them. Right, the films that this has been compared to, and it goes on about it quite often in the extras, is Pretty Woman. I think this is a lovely film. I've always liked it. This is the NTSC Laserdisc, and as you can see, quite a special Laserdisc. Can't remember how much that cost back in the day, but that was always something special to have and to put on occasionally. But I don't think ANORA is anything like Pretty Woman. Yes, they're both Cinderella stories, but ANORA is Cinderella with a difference, to say the least. I think it's more like The Girl Next Door, which is another sex comedy. There's really a lot of sex in this, but it's highly amusing sex. Don't watch it with your grandmother again, but I think it's a wonderful film. It's great fun and gives me a good laugh every time I look at it, and mainly because the main cast in this are fabulous, as they are in ANORA. They are also, of course, in Pretty Woman, but I think ANORA's got a lot going for it. It's not going to be for everyone, but I would highly recommend this disc to people who aren't easily offended, can take the bad language, and it's particularly Mikey Maddison's character, ANORA, the foul language she delivers, the insults. It was so over the top, you just couldn't help but laugh, and we did find ourselves laughing in here quite often throughout this ridiculous situations. So yes, you've got to be careful with this one. I got this from the Swindon HMV, £29.95, and I think that's what it's for sale for everywhere. But it's dangerous when you go into an HMV. A lot of people have been asking me what I think of the recent Clint Eastwood 4Ks, and I'm not ready to watch any of them, but my wife picked one up and said, what about this one? And I thought, I haven't seen the Outlaw Josie Wales in years. have I ever seen it? So I'm going to answer that question soon. So maybe I'll be able to do a review of this. I'll see how popular it seems to be on the web, and I'll let you know what I think of the 4K quality of that. It is a film, so I expect it to be pretty terrific, and you never get out of there scot-free. Not only did I spend $19.99 on that, but on the counter they've got one of their HMV Premium Collection Blu-rays, and Rider High Country was on the counter, £7.49 just for the one, because normally you get two for £15 in the sale, but they're selling a few for £7.49 each. And this is a Sam Peckinpah, and I thought, have I ever seen it? So couldn't leave that there, could I? Right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, perhaps consider subscribing if you haven't already, and until the next video, bye bye for now.